Good afternoon. We're your hosts, Ryan G. Hensley, Grant Cohn. It's Monday. The Niners play in 6 days, and Nick Bosa hasn't reported yet. It's not just that he hasn't signed his extension. Like, he's not even in the state, for all I know. Like, he's not even in the time zone. So It's down to the wire. We're going to talk about him. We're going to make a lot of predictions. It's fine. It's time. We have to we've got all the evidence. We've seen training camp. We've seen preseason. Let's make some predictions. But let's start with the news of the week until he signs. Nick Bosa. When do you think Nick Bosa will sign and report and play with this team?
So there's real two big games to me, right? Like, obviously Pittsburgh would be great. I don't think that's happening. And then they're facing the Giants September 21st. I think they're going to want him there. But definitely by October 8th for the Cowboys. If I had to guess, I'm going to say they sign him after the Rams game, sometime after September 17th, to make sure they have him against the Giants. But it will not go past the Cowboys game. There's no way they let it go that far.
I thought you were going to say week one. I was going to disagree with you, but I agree. I don't think he's going to be playing week one. I think, even if he were to sign tomorrow, he couldn't play 75% of the snaps, 50% of the snaps. He could play third downs, right, which is what, 12 plays tops. Right. So you already sort of lost him for week one. Might be best not to play him anyway, although better to have him than not to have him. Just doesn't feel like this is going to end this week. And then if they make it through the Steelers game, the Rams kind of suck. Nice. I'm with you. I feel like week 3 for the home opener.
Giants. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I'm starting to become more on the Niners side at this point, Grant.
Yeah.
I'm not really.
What is the problem here?
I'm not really into paying non-franchise quarterbacks franchise quarterback money. And, I saw a report, I think it might have been you actually, talking about Joey Bosa's contract.
Yeah.
How do you feel how do you think the Chargers feel about that contract?
Probably not great. Probably not great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just went through the whole salary cap of the 49ers over the next year or two with Twin this morning on my show, and it's not good, man. They got a lot of expensive their top 4 paid players, I'm assuming they signed Bosa, cost more than the rest of the 49 combined. And none of them are quarterback. I just don't.
Can we call it like it is with Bosa for a second, though? Can we just call it like it is? I think that he's losing support. Debo got a ton of backlash. Bosa hasn't. But I think it's clear that Bosa is and his brother too. They're totally out for themselves. Right. Joey technically plays for the Chargers. Nick technically plays for the 49ers. But there's no allegiance there. Right. They're not going to give those teams a discount. Those teams have to pay them whatever they want. That's what they're playing the sport for. And I think what's scary is once they get the second contract, once they have $100 million in the bank and there's less to attain, what are they going to do? Are they going to play super hard every week like they did when they were coming up trying to get paid? Or are they still out for themselves and they're going to start making business decisions? I don't know. I wasn't watching Joey last year, but he had a down year. And now he's only 2 years older than Nick. So I'm a little scared about giving Nick quarterback money and seeing what he does when he's 27, 28 with $150 million in the bank. I don't know.
And I don't want people to get me wrong. Nick Bosa's elite, one of the top players in the NFL. We're not saying that, but that kind of money is usually reserved for your top 7, 8, 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. And he's not that guy. Maybe the 49ers want to see how it goes before they give up on their side of things. Maybe they want to see how it goes against Pittsburgh. Let's see how we do without Nick Bosa. Do we really need to go up to the $35 million he's asking? I think that's what he's asking for. I think the 49ers are somewhere around 31 right now. So I kind of feel the Niners on this one. I mean, for once, this clubhouse is expensive. They got to think about the future, whether they want to or not. I mean, locking in Nick Bosa at that price tag, you're going to have to get rid of Eric Armstead. You're going to have to think about what you do with Debo in a couple of years. Can you pay Brandon Ayuk? There's a ton of George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk. There's a ton to think about.
Isn't he showing his true colors, though, if he misses week one? If he really – because what he's doing essentially is saying, look, if you don't want to – if you're not going to let me win this contract negotiation, I will prove my point, how important I am to this team by watching you lose week one. I'm going to sit out, maybe even root against you guys, Because if you lose, then my case gets stronger. If you win without me, my case gets weaker. I'm going to play that game. I mean, Debo didn't do that.
Yeah.
And no one else has ever done that with the Niners. And Bosa's going to do it. And people are like, yeah, I'm right in his corner. Like, I don't know, man. This is why I was always against the Niners drafting Bosa. And in retrospect, I was way wrong. It was great to have him on his rookie deal. What a bargain that was.
Yeah.
That's over.
Yeah.
That's over. And now you're getting really deep into business with him and his whole family. And you see how they work. They're in it for themselves. And if they got to tank the whole season to get what they feel they deserve, they'll do it. They will freaking do it. And what's crazy is this the next excuse for the 49ers? Like, oh, we didn't have Nick Bosa for 2, 3, 5, 7 weeks. And we started off slow. But then we finished strong and we almost won the Super Bowl. So next year, like, are we getting ready for that? Because I don't want that. I don't want to hear that.
Here's the thing, like there's 3 outcomes to this, right? They give him the extension he wants, they trade him, or they franchise, or they take the 5th-year option on him, and he holds out until he no longer finds it to be a smart, lucrative decision. So those 3 options, right? The 5th-year option, and he holds out, or they trade him, or they eventually give him the money he wants. Which 3 options? Like, I'm not even sure that they give him the money he wants. Yeah, you have an organization and a player that are both sunk in right now, that both have their positions, and it doesn't seem like either one is flexible. What out of those 3 options, Grant, which one happens? You think they actually sign him, extend him?
I think they're going to extend him. They've already said they're not going to trade him. I mean, they've said a lot of things this offseason and been wrong about it.
Your option ain't trading him, though.
They're going to extend him eventually. I think I could really see them playing hardball, him sitting out week 1. If they lose, turning around on Monday and giving him everything he ever wanted. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Not saying they're going to lose, but if they do, I could see that happening.
What if the D-line looks great and they got pressure on Kenny Pickett all day long?
Then maybe Nick Bosa comes back to them and says yes before his value drops.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, I don't know why it had to come to this, but I feel like him not playing week 1 is part of this. Yeah. Like both sides, like he's trying to say, I'm the whole team. You can't win without me. And the Niners are like, I don't really. We scored like 35 points per game last year. Our offense was humming. Like we had a top 5 defense without you. So I think they kind of need to take this to a moment of truth. 1 game without Bosa to start the season. And if the Niners win, then he probably comes back at their price. If they lose, then he probably comes back at his price. I don't know. It seems like a petty, silly way to get this done. It didn't have to come to this. And that's best case scenario, it feels like to me at this point.
It's interesting because his camp stayed quiet throughout all of this. And now they can't avoid, like they avoided the bad PR, but now the games are starting.
Right.
And you can't avoid that PR. You can't just be quiet and avoid the bad PR because you're not on the field when the 49ers are playing games. That's bad PR right there. So it's a different situation now. It's different.
And that's why people aren't mad at Nick Bosa, because like he didn't do the stuff that Debo did. He didn't scrub his social media. He didn't request a trade. He didn't do anything. He just was quiet. But that doesn't mean we know what he's thinking or that he's going to give the Niners a break or he's going to be easy to deal with. Like Chris Jones is the one that came out and said, I may not play until week 8.
Right.
That could be Nick Bosa's strategy too. He just hasn't verbalized it. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like why would he do something differently? It seems like they're kind of in the same ballpark in terms of what they're asking for. So maybe they could be using the same playbook too. Like maybe it's possible that Bosa doesn't even come back until the Niners are 3-4.
I mean, I see things. I think there's one thing I can do a little bit. I see things from all perspective. As if I'm an owner, I understand what the Niners are doing right now. If I'm a player, I understand what Nick Bosa is doing right now as well. But then there goes to a point where, like, okay, we're separated by $2-3 million a year. Like, are we just being extremely petty at this point? Like, I don't know. How do you feel about it? Like, he's avoided this diva label, but how do you feel?
Oh, also, how does the locker room take this? Like, you just shocked the locker room with the Trey Lance thing. A lot of those guys were pulling for him, but that's just part of it. Now it's like Nick Bosa's not. Oh, he's not here. Why? And there's no explanation and there's no timetable. And so every question, I was in the locker room today, every question for every player is so like, what do you think it's going to be like if Nick's not there? Like do you think you guys are going to have to blitz more? Like, have you talked to Nick? Are you scared about playing without? Like everything is a question about maybe. So that's the distraction now. The thing hanging over Nick not being there is the monkey, is like the elephant in the room. So is that good? And it's like all the players are like, I don't know. It's about no one's told me. So what are they asking each other? They don't know. They're like, hey, is Nick going to play this game? I don't know. You had Drake Jackson literally walking through the locker room today being like, Bosa, come back. You can blame it all on me. And like all the players like, yo, yeah, it's funny, man. It's because like they're all like, what the like, it was just something I said. Maybe it was Drake Jackson's fault. Maybe Drake said something. Maybe Drake smells bad. Like, I don't know. No one knows. This is weird.
Crazy, man. The 49ers have had a tumultuous pre-off season. It does. And you made another great point that you brought up. This preseason, everything that's happened with Trey Lance and now Nick Bosa and the kicker, it reminds me of exactly what you said. Draymond Green punching Jordan Poole in the mouth, kind of set a funky tone to the team, and you just kind of knew it in your heart that this wasn't the year. It almost feels like that. I hope that's not the truth, but that's how it feels right now. Like
you've been a coach for a long time, high school basketball coach. It's like, is this bad? Is this definitely mean the Niners aren't going to win the Super Bowl? Like, no, but like, it's not good for the team to have this hanging over it. It's not what you want.
Right.
It can't be good.
Right. I mean, they could, if he comes back and they all start winning, it'll all go away quickly. But if there's any kind of struggle,
it's not trending that direction. I'd be so shocked if he played week 1. I'd be so shocked at this point.
Yeah. I don't think he's playing week 1. I don't think so. If he does,
if he's going to play week 1, there'd be like a report that he's like flying out here, right? Like, hey, Nick Bosa is going to be in Santa Clara. They might talk. They're going to be talking. This could get wrapped. Like, where is he?
If he's not signed by tomorrow, forget about it. It's going until the Giants game minimum.
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it. Yes.
Forget about it.
If it's not signed tomorrow, they're not going to worry about him for the Rams. If he's not signed tomorrow, he's not playing this weekend, and they're not going to care about for the Rams. So I would say it's going on a couple of weeks minimum. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, that would be my guess.
Getting attention for all the wrong reasons. The 2023 49ers. Double B Studio says Bosa's hurt and doesn't want to show his crutches. Allegedly, according to you. Hey, Bosa, I was just reading. I don't know. Please leave me. Pissed off, Brother Bob says Iggy and Ryan OG. Grant, you see PP was trailing you. He was. It was my fault, though. Yeah. Lucky Louise says, Grant, good. I should have, man. Grant, good to see you. Please no more Cohn phones. Okay. Double B Studio says, Grant, what if Steve Wilkes told Kyle, I don't need Bosa? I'm sure that's the first thing Steve Wilkes said. RWJ all day says, segue, let's talk about our sponsor, Bet US. No, I got a new sponsor today. New sponsor. Double B Studio says, trade Bosa for 2 great O-linemen and let's win the Super Bowl with the top 5 offense and the top 15 defense like every Super Bowl winning team does. That's a good point. You don't have to have the best defense. You have to have the best offense and a good defense. So maybe the Niners should just trade Bosa for a right tackle.
I'm going to be honest, Durant, it seems smarter to trade Bosa. I said that in March. It seems smarter to trade Bosa.
For the exact same reasons they traded DeForest Buckner.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't afford to pay one guy that much money. You can't.
It's too much. Yeah. Like, I don't even feel comfortable paying a quarterback that much. Like $35 million. You're already spending $28 million a year on Trent Williams, man. That's too much for him.
Yeah.
It's too much.
He's great. We're not saying he's not great. It's just
one player.
One player, man.
Yeah, Double B Studio says, was Bosa really good or were NFC teams really bad? I mean, Bosa's good. He's good, but like, how long is he going to be good for? J.J. Watt stopped being good like around 26.
Yeah.
T.J. Watt had, what did he do last? He had 5 sacks last year?
Something like that. Front Row Justice says Bosa scrubbed his Twitter. Man, he blocked me on Twitter before he got drafted. Before. I'm proud of that. He heard you talking.
Yeah, he heard me talking. Jad said, Grant dancing on the grave of Niner fans' hopes and dreams. No. You don't even know my prediction for the season yet. G-Code Travels Vlog POV says, maybe Bosa's mad he wasn't invited to Cabo. He was.
He was there.
I think he's saying, I don't want to go back to Cabo. I don't even like Cabo anymore. I'm more of a Turks and Caicos kind of guy. JT says, at this point, just trade him. No, way too much to pay for an injury-prone non-quarterback, even Bosa. Nick should stay shrugging when he disappears in the playoffs. At least Debo reported at camp.
Man, the fan base is turning on Bosa, man. Now's the time.
This is what I can't believe people are surprised. Yeah. Like Joey held out from his rookie thing for a long time. Like, didn't he miss the first few games? I don't know.
He got a lot of money too.
Probably
not worth it.
Probably not worth it. $110 million guaranteed for a guy who doesn't play quarterback. Okay, let's talk about something else. Who will lead the 49ers in rushing touchdowns this season?
I think that's a pretty easy one. For me, assuming he stays healthy, I'm going CMC all day, every day. I don't think that's a question.
Well, you have to explain why, just because you think it's not a question.
It's CMC. It's CMC, man. No, he's CMC. I mean, it's Christian McCaffrey, man. If he stays healthy, Kyle's hasn't done the running back by committee thing in a long time. I wish he would sometimes to help promote CMC's health long term. Last year, I was worried about that. Maybe he does it this year, but even if he does, it's still going to be Christian McCaffrey, no question to me. I mean, you got another answer to that one?
No, it's gonna be Christian McCaffrey
Yeah,
for sure.
right.
Like, no, the only way that it wouldn't be is if he gets hurt like every other Niner starting. So I'll just say, like, how about no? No, like, I don't. It sucks to predict injuries because you're like, wow, why would you put that out there? Right. But it's not. It's just like, look at all the Niners running backs get hurt all the time. So he's had an injury history. They have an injury history. I hate to say it, but I think the Niners envision him being the offensive player of the year. Yeah. I think they think that he's going to be the catalyst to their team. He's going to play the whole season. He's going to lead like the league in a lot of statistics. And if he stays healthy, he'll be their Terrell Davis. He'll be their offensive MVP. Well, he has to stay healthy, though. So if he doesn't, then it's going to be like Jordan Mason. Yes.
We'll phrase it a different way, though, so we don't have to talk about injury. Besides Christian McCaffrey, who leads the 49ers in rushing touchdowns after Christian McCaffrey?
I feel like you got to give that role to Jordan Mason if he's not fumbling. But he has been fumbling and he is injured a little bit, but I think eventually it'll be Mason just because he's so unique and he's so powerful. The most powerful running back on the team by far. But I do think the Niners are going to try to get Christian McCaffrey like 2,000 yards from scrimmage and 20 touchdowns. He's going to have like a LT type year if he stays healthy.
I'm going to give you another answer. If it's not Christian McCaffrey, it's Debo. I think Debo could have the second most rushing touchdowns this year.
Interesting.
Yeah, that would be my
interesting. Pick. I feel like Debo is the guy you give the ball to at like the 15. But if you're at the 2, how do you not freaking give it to Jordan Mason? Well, he fumbled at the 2-yard line in the preseason, right?
Yeah. Might be TDP. Yeah.
Might be TDP. All right. Who will lead the 49ers in receiving yards this season?
It's got to be BA, man. It's got to be BA. It's a contract year for Brandon Ayuk. He led the team last year. I thought he would, and he did. I think he's going to again. It's a contract year. He's trying to get his bag, man. This is the year for Brandon Ayuk. I don't think it's any question that it's going to be Brandon Ayuk leading the 49ers in receiving yards. He plays every game. He doesn't miss. He's their best receiver. It's a contract year. All of that added up together equals BA leading the team in receiving touchdowns, yards. Excuse me.
I think he's going to lead the team in receptions, catches.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be close between him and Debo. And Debo in the past has been so good after the catch that it might be tough for Ayuk to win the receiving. Like, he could have more catches and fewer receiving yards than Debo. In fact, that's going to be my prediction. I think, well, but then again, Debo has to play all the games. That's where Ayuk gets Debo. Ayuk, you can almost pencil him in for 17 games. Debo, it's like 13? 13-ish? So now I'm going Ayuk. I talked myself back into Ayuk. I don't like just assuming players with extensive injury histories are going to play 17 games. Like that's a skill. They talk about that being a skill, right?
Yeah.
Availability, the ability to play football and not get hurt. I don't know.
Availability is the best ability. I put Debo fourth. I think it would be Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and CMC, and then Debo.
I'm scared about George this year, man. He's already hurt.
Yeah.
He's already hurt.
It does work.
So,
yeah.
Meanwhile, Debo's had a terrific camp and hasn't gotten hurt yet, to his credit.
Yeah. No, Debo looks good.
Out there. He looks good.
The 49ers fans should be excited about Debo and Brandon Ayuk because I think they're both going to could possibly be the best we've ever seen from them. Now, Debo might not get as much statistically because they're not going to rely on him as much as they did 2 years ago. But I think you're going to see the best version of Debo and Brandon Ayuk that we've ever seen this year.
And it's like they're probably not going to play Debo at running back as much where he's like in the I formation getting tosses and stuff. But there's still what coaches call extended handoffs, which are screens and stuff. And he's obviously going to get a couple of those plus jet sweep and an end around. Like he's still going to be carrying the ball and getting targeted behind the line of scrimmage. He's just going to be probably in more space, which is good anyway. Yeah,
and they changed the rule. Didn't they change the rule now that forward like flip handoff where they come in motion? They flip it forward. That's now a run, I believe. It's not a pass anymore.
Okay. Yeah. But it's still a viable play. It's just changed different in the that was like the original Jimmy Gimme.
Yeah.
The original Jimmy Gimme. Yeah. That's a 20-yard throw.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Who will lead the 49ers in total touchdowns this season?
Maybe we might want to go again besides CMC because I think it's going to be CMC again, man. I think he's going to have a ton of receiving touchdowns. He's going to have the most rushing touchdowns. If CMC stays healthy, he might be the one in the run for offensive MVP. That's how much Kyle's going to use CMC this year. And knock on wood, hope he doesn't make it. But I think he's going to lead in there. What do you think? You got someone else?
The fact that I think the Niners want McCaffrey to be the offensive player of the year in the NFL, I think they do because Peter King predicted it, which I think he probably means someone in the Niners predicted it. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be too over aggressive with McCaffrey again. You should not be doing that with him in the regular season. What matters is what he does in the playoffs. Right. But they're going to try to get all these regular season accolades, which means it's going to be like 17 carries a game plus 8 targets. Yikes. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Everyone's worried about Brock Purdy making it through the season. I'm worried about Christian McCaffrey making it through the season. So total touchdowns? Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason.
Really?
Man, he's going to take that job. Remember how Jamal Williams had like 20 touchdowns last year just as the goal line back in Detroit?
Yeah. Not Elijah Mitchell.
I mean, it could be Kittle, but he's not. But he's going to be hurt. And then Debo doesn't catch touchdown passes, and Ayuk will be a go-to guy in the end zone for sure. But he's not a running back.
Not Elijah Mitchell. Not TDP. Mason, huh? You think do the 49ers have Mason higher than TDP?
It's going to be a running back. Total touchdowns is going to be a running back. Either McCaffrey or his replacement if he gets hurt.
Do the 49ers have Jordan Mason above TDP right now, do you think?
I mean, he's hurt. He broke something. I don't know. I think they do different things. I think TDP is more of like an outside zone toss, get to the edge, perimeter runner, and Jordan Mason is like shotgun between the tackles. So depending on what they want to do.
So they're going to use
that's a bad answer.
So they're going to use Jordan Mason how we told them to use him last year on third and short, third and goal. They're going to do that this year is what you're saying.
They might if he stops dropping the ball and fumbling.
Or they won't if they see this video of you saying that. They're going to make sure that doesn't happen.
It's my fault. Let's take some super chats.
All right.
We got you. Double B Studio says, Bosa gets slow postseason or can't beat great O-linemen. He beat weak teams, pay Bosa. Had he wrecked in the postseason like Aaron Donald did. My thing with Bosa is like, he often starts off games great. I don't have the stats to back it up, but I feel like sometimes he runs out of gas in fourth quarters or the fourth quarters of seasons. I know he had that great performance, that great play in overtime against the Raiders. Yeah. But I feel like sometimes I wonder about his
what he does
tank.
Is he goes hard, man. He goes really hard. And when you go that hard on every single play, it's hard to sustain that for a long period of time. You know,
he does.
Good at short bursts.
Gregory Young says, hey, Grant, finally caught a live stream. Best to you and Pops. Hold Kyle Shanahan accountable for the Lance debacle. Bose has never been a team player. Yeah, and they knew that, and they're cool with that. But this is what happens when you go into business with a player like this, coming off a defensive player of the year season.
Yeah, I think Bosa knows this might be his last opportunity to get the bag, like the big bag. Like, who knows what happens in the NFL career? And I don't necessarily blame him completely, but it is tough from the 49ers perspective and a fan's perspective.
Yeah, he can give a team a discount on the next contract. Right. Ink Talk TV says, how y'all been? Been moving, so I've been missing. Hope everything's been good. Thank you, Ink Talk TV. Julio, happy Labor Day, Grant and Ryan G. Killing it like always.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Happy Labor Day. Jody Moore, question, is the Rams model the way we should follow? They went all in, paid big, and won that ring. This team will be hot to be this close to a ring and not get it before these guys retire. Good to see you, Grant. Here's something I got for this. People talk about the Niners window being open for a while or whatever. Man, it feels like it's like this year, maybe next year too. So many players who are getting older. Trent Williams, George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave.
Yeah.
That's like 6 guys right there.
And it's more than that. And it's not only getting older, but getting expensive. Like Debo's contract.
McCaffrey, like how much longer is McCaffrey going to be elite? He's a 27-year-old running back. 1 year, 2 years? 1 year, 2 years? Yeah.
George
Debo
Kittle
too.
Gets expensive.
Yeah.
Kyle Juszczyk is supposed to make $7.5 million next year.
Like Ayuk has a future, and he's getting better, and Bosa has a future if he ever comes back to the team. But those guys, Eric Armstead? Okay, so it's Armstead, Hargrave, Trent Williams, Juszczyk, Kittle, and then McCaffrey, Debo. It's like that's like 7 guys
making a lot of money.
Yeah,
the window for
this is it
for these guys at least. It's a year.
This is it
now, or maybe next year.
This is why I don't think the Niners can really play hardball with Nick Bosa. Like, what are you going to do? Trade him for picks? Like, this is it. If you trade Nick Bosa, it's over.
Well, the 49ers, that's one of my complaints, man. It's like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, right? They're like, this is our year. We got to get this Super Bowl. It's a win now team. But they're not really going all in. Like,
Colt McKivitz is starting. Drake Jackson is starting. Nick Bosa is not here. What are you talking about?
Right. So it's not completely all in. You got an unproven.
No offense to Colt McKivitz, by the way. I don't mean to turn you into some type of punchline. You're a dude making about $1 million, getting an opportunity. God love you.
Right.
God, and I hope you make the most of this opportunity. What a great story you are. But it's quite a cavalier decision on the Niners' part. Like, oh, we're good. We got Colt McKivitz. He's going to start. Like, okay. He would be a great backup.
What about a rookie, sophomore quarterback who's only played 7-8 games?
Yeah, like, that too.
That's a little risky as well. Like, I mean, it's possible
too.
Purdy comes out balling, but who the hell knows? Really, nobody knows.
I want to say something real quick about the offensive alignment. Like, they're always the scapegoats of a team. And on this team, everyone knows it's the worst position group on the team. And so, like, a lot of times I'll be snarky or sarcastic about certain offensive linemen on the team. I just want to make clear, if they're watching, like, man, it's not you. It's not you. It's the fact that the Niners have decided that your position group really has very little value and that they're not going to invest very much in it. So when I talk about, I'm talking about that decision and the people in the front office. I respect any person starting in the NFL making $1 million, $2 million trying to make it. Like, it's a bunch of those guys in the offensive line. I respect you.
Colt McKivitz could be better than Mike McGlinchey for all we know. He definitely could be. We have no idea. So it's not a knock on him. It's just
definitely more cost effective.
Yeah, from the outside perspective,
I thought Tom Compton was just as good as Mike McGlinchey. So yeah, could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, thanks, Jody. Moises Rosales says, I'm all for players getting paid, but at this point, there's zero change in quality of life for Bosa if he gets $31 million or $34 million a year, 97, losing my respect. Again, I agree, but I feel like people should have known this about Nick. You shouldn't be surprised. His family is quite transparent about what they're in it for. Like, if you know his dad's history, he was a first-round pick too for Miami. Never really got paid. And I feel like his whole mission is to make sure that never, ever, ever happens to his kids and that they get every single dime that they have coming their way. So they're not in the business of giving teams breaks.
I mean, he came up Defensive Player of the Year. He's probably the best defensive player. And I mean, according to the last year, he was. They should have fully expected that he was going to want to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. That's what he wanted. It was predictable. We all know it. So it shouldn't be a surprise to them.
Although he said he didn't want that. He tried to remember last year. He's like, oh, it doesn't matter to me.
Of course. Well, what does his agent think he should get? That's the difference. What does his dad think he should get? Right. Of course.
I'm tired of people like, it's one thing to like not tell the whole truth or like be vague in public when you're doing it, but don't lie. Yeah. On the record, I
mean, it's possible Nick Bosa doesn't care about the difference between 31 and 34, but he's listening to his agent and his family, and they're telling him what he needs to do. I mean, it's possible he wants to go play. You know, it's possible.
It is possible. It's true. Double B Studio says, could you trade Bosa and Kyle Shanahan for Patrick Mahomes? No. Dave Barclay says, love you guys. I miss him because I was watching Ryan's video with Twin. You guys are killing it. Sidebar, Ryan, I need your help with my credit so I can start working towards a house. Super proud of you guys. Hit like button. I'm really inspired by how Ryan has been able to have like all of his different hustles sort of like support each other. It's cool.
I couldn't have done it without you, man. It honestly wasn't planned. Like, I just wanted to talk 49ers football, and then I figured this is a good way to actually, flip everything I'm doing. It's great. It's been fantastic.
Has it grown your other businesses?
Oh, yeah, by far. Yes. Man, I've helped a ton of 49er fans. This has been great, man. I owe it all to you, dude.
Yeah. Niner fans in general. The thing that's nice about having a YouTube channel devoted to talking about the Niners is so many Niner fans. It's a great audience. It's global, and they're very passionate and smart, and they know exactly what kind of coverage they want. Sometimes it's us, sometimes it's not, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's great. I've loved every minute of it, and I appreciate you for everything.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you too. And you saw I tweeted out a couple of days ago, like, if you want to start a YouTube channel, these are the people you need to talk to. You were high on that list. I'm telling you, if you want to start a YouTube channel, you should talk to Ryan, because he's doing a really good job. Look at how much he's built in a year.
11 months. We got 5,111 months. So keep pushing. I'm trying to get 10.
Eventually, like, your YouTube channel will be so lucrative, you won't have to do anything else. But in the meantime, in between time, it made your other businesses more lucrative. That's great. That's really cool.
That's the thing, Graham. I'm still going to do everything else. I'm still going to keep doing it no matter what. Yeah.
That's tight. Yeah, because you know what? Because you're a New Jack hustler. Hustler. I was listening to Ice-T this morning because I saw him at Chase this weekend. He's 65. He even said he's 65. That's cool, though. The original OG. The OOG.
Hey,
anyways, back to the show.
Ice-T's been dropping bombs of wisdom on Twitter lately. He's a good follow on Twitter.
Always does.
Yeah.
I love Ice-T. Anyway, who will lead the 49ers in interceptions this season?
I'm going to go Gip, man. Gip led. Didn't he lead last year? He had 5. I think he's going to run it back, man. I think it's going to be Gibson again. Gibson is so underrated. He might be the most underrated 49er on this defense, or if not the team. Gibson, I love Huff too. I predicted Huff was going to have a great year, and he had an all-pro year, and he deserved it. Shout out to Huff. He's one of my favorite Niners. But Gibson was better than him last year. People don't realize it. I think 2 of the
Statistically, for sure. Yes.
2 of the interceptions Huff had came from Gibson. They were tips from Gibson. People forget that, man. Gibson, I think, is going to lead the team in interceptions.
People don't know about Deshaun Gibson. Like, this is a guy, let me tell you, he is 33 years old. He has earned $40 million in his career, and he has a grand total of 32 picks in his career. Like, these are serious. He's a serious player. He's bounced around and played for 5 different teams, which is crazy to me because he always produces. He had 5 picks last year, 2 before that, 2 before that, 3 before that, 1 before that, 4 before that. Like, he had a year in 2014 where he had 6 picks. It's a crazy player.
Every year, he's a ball hawk. If somehow he slips under the radar, people don't appreciate him for whatever reason. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's crazy. You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. I feel I learned this from Richard Sherman. I feel like if you're a DB in the NFL, you got to talk hella shit about yourself too and let everyone know that you're the best. Otherwise, no one's going to promote you unless you were like a top 10 pick or something. But like I saw a lot of the different DBs look at Richard Sherman and say, okay, I got to be like him. I got to say that I'm good. And Richard Sherman would do it too. Like, Jimmy Ward's good. He doesn't get his credit. And Jimmy Ward would start to talk. And I talked to Jimmy Ward about, like, did being Richard Sherman's teammate change you in any way? Absolutely. Like, Gibson's not, he's 33. He's not going to change. But I think sometimes you need to be a little bit like Richard Sherman. Yeah.
You need to be like Richard Sherman. You can't just trust the team to promote you and do right by you. You need to make someone of yourself, a name for yourself.
Richard Sherman is sharp as a tack. I think it's that. I also think Gibson, because he has moved around so much, every fan base he's been at, they don't really get a chance to get used to him as much as other players that were drafted and stayed with the same team. So that might be another reason why he's underrated. But Gibson is definitely underrated, and I would be surprised if he didn't lead the 49ers in the interceptions.
Yeah, I'd be surprised too, although year 3 of Talanoa Funga will be interesting. Although if camp was any indication, it's going to be Gip again. Who will lead the 49ers in total tackles?
So total, I think Warner won, but solo, Greenlaw won. It was 82-79 in solo tackles for Greenlaw. So it's really, last year I predicted it was going to be Huff, He came in third. You predicted it was going to be Greenlaw. You were right. I think it's going to be those three. It's going to be Huff, Greenlaw, Warner. It's a crapshoot between Warner and Greenlaw. Huff might have a little bit of an advantage this year because I think they're going to be, sending him in a pass rush more. So he might get some more tackles than he has because of that. But if I had to predict, I'm going to go Warner. I'm just going to go Warner with it.
I'm running it back with Dre Greenlaw, baby.
Okay.
I feel like Dre Greenlaw has really improved the last few years. He's been on the team for 4 years. He missed most of 2021. He had 127 tackles last year. I feel like he's in his prime right now. And if last year wasn't his best year, this year will be his best year. I think he's faster than Fred Warner. I think he hits harder than Fred Warner. I think he's more violent than Fred Warner. The one thing with him is he needs to cut out the 15-yard penalties. And I don't know if it's like a reputation thing at this point with Greenlaw, like if they're like looking for it with him. But if he keeps playing it's like I like Greenlaw so much. There's very few defenders like this anymore, but he's walking the line of too physical, which is what you freaking want from your weak side linebacker, right? Like that dude's going to hit a little too hard, although it's football, he's supposed to. But I think Greenlaw's, because he still hasn't gotten the accolades yet. Everyone knows Fred Warner's the best. Dre Greenlaw, never been to a Pro Bowl, wasn't in the NFL's top 100. I think he's got a lot to prove. He clearly sees himself as being that good. The team doesn't really promote him very much. He should be a household name. Like when we were younger, it was Willis and Bowman.
Yeah.
It should be Warner and Greenlaw. Yeah. But it's Fred Warner featuring Dre Greenlaw. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's messed up.
That's real.
So I'm going Greenlaw. Yeah.
That's real. And you can actually afford a couple of those penalties. If you're a coach.
That's true.
It depends on the timing of it, right? And who you're hitting. I mean, it kind of sets the tone for the defense. So you can eat a couple of those, but you just don't want to at the wrong time.
I think he's the tone setter on the defense. Him. I think he is. He's the one. I mean, he's the guy I think that will hurt you the most.
Oh, for sure. If you ask the player who they'd rather be hit by, they're going to rather be hit by Warner than Greenlaw. That's for sure. So he does set the tone. He does put a little fear in some of these guys. Fred Warner's like the mental leader, but Greenlaw's the physical leader.
Fred Warner is talk about another guy who learned from Richard Sherman. Yeah. Self-promoter. He talks. He's not using the media, but he's smart with the media. He talks. He's a captain. He's all about promoting himself, which has gotten him a lot of money. Dre Greenlaw doesn't do that, which part of me is like, man, you should. Other part of me is like, I respect that you don't. And that's probably why I'm picking him.
And the 49ers, I was trying to find it, but I think I don't know if I could see it, but they lucked out on extending. Didn't they extend Greenlaw way early and they got him for a super?
Yeah.
Cheap? So he's locked in at almost nothing for how good he is. So, I mean, Greenlaw, hats off to Greenlaw. Hopefully he keeps balling and gets a bigger contract next time.
All right. Now let's talk a little Prize Picks. This is this month's sponsor, Prize Picks, which is daily fantasy. If you're into, let me get this like a little bit. If you're into daily fantasy, Prize Picks is really fun. Let me put them on the screen. I'll show you how to do it. You got to sign up with the link in the description. If you use promo code Iggy, you get a 100% deposit match on your first on a deposit up to $100. And then let's say you want to see some like Prize Pick entries for the 49ers. Go to the NFL, check it out here. And this is like, here's how you do it. Let's say Brock Purdy. Here's one. One entry would be more than or less than 6.5 rushing yards. What would you do? More than or less than 6.5 rushing yards for Brock Purdy.
For the week, I'm giving him
for more. The week. More?
Yeah.
Okay, how about Christian McCaffrey? More than or less than 62.5 rushing yards week 1?
Oh, come on. More. Easy.
More?
Yeah.
Okay. How about Christian McCaffrey? More than or less than half a rushing touchdown this week?
Oh, what? Come on. That's easy money right there. That's
easy money. Yeah. All right, more than. All right. Debo. More than or less than 47.5 receiving yards.
Ooh, that one's tough. I don't know. That one's tough, man. That one's tough.
It's tough.
I don't know. I'm
going more than. I think he's in good shape now. I think the game plan is going to be Debo heavy.
Okay.
George Kittle, More than or less than 43.5 receiving yards week 1.
Less.
I don't even know he's going to play. So what you can do is you can pick 5, and here your entry is right here. If you use my promo code, they'll match your deposit up to $100. Use it today. Thank you, Prize Picks. All right, let's get back to the show. Shout out to Prize Picks. Who will lead the 49ers in sacks this year?
Let's go outside of Bosa, right? If Bosa's there, I think we agree it's Bosa. Let's make it hard. Let's make it harder. Outside of Bosa, I'm going.
We don't know that Bosa's going to be there, though.
True. That's true.
We don't know that.
I'm going to go Cleveland Farrell. Yes, I said that out loud. I'm going.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
I know.
I'm not even mad. I just wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised.
Yeah, I like what I think he's going to be. Honestly, I think he's going to show something when Bosa's gone. I think you're going to have Cleveland Farrell and Drake Jackson off the edge. And I believe in Drake Jackson. I think he's going to cause a lot of problems, especially like tipping passes. But I'm going to go Cleveland Farrell, man. That he's a very talented guy who's just never reached his potential yet. I think he was, a second overall pick, I believe. Cleveland Farrell's got a lot of talent, man. He just hasn't tapped into it. I think if anybody can, it would be the 49ers. I'm going to go Cleveland Farrell, man. I think he is going to be a surprise pickup for the 49ers this year.
Okay, I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm very confident. In fact, I guarantee that Eric Armstead will have more sacks this year than he had last year.
Okay, yeah. What is that? That's not too hard. I mean, no offense to Eric Armstead.
Guarantee it. Yes. He's going to have more than he had last year, which is saying something. But I'm going to go with Javon Hargrave. I feel like the thing with Armstead is that like he creates a ton of – he's a great run defender. Any position. He creates a lot of pressure as a pass rusher. But like finishing the play, like tackling the guy and bringing him to the ground, which is the object of tackle football.
Yeah.
That's not really his thing per se. Mm-hmm. So the pressure he creates is valuable and nice and good. And I think Javon Hargrave will benefit from that. Unless the quarterback is getting flushed out of the pocket, then he won't. But if he's getting, if he's stepping up or stepping away from Armstead, maybe Hargrave can walk into some sacks. He's a good player, especially as a pass rusher.
If you're right about that and Hargrave gets the second most sacks on the team after Bosa, that means they're getting pressure up the middle. That means it's going to be a really good year for the 49ers pass rush. So that would be great for –
I mean, this Hargrave signing needs to work out. Like, they could have went and got an offensive lineman. Like, they could have got the best right tackle out there on the market and said they're like, no. We believe in Colton McKivitz. Shout out Colton. And we're going to add to our D-line. Like, cool. So you got to be right about Hargrave. He's got to be the impact player of free agency because you paid him like he was and you neglected the offensive line to bring him into a position that was already strong. So I'm banking on him being the real deal. The real deal. That's the word.
I got a question for you, Grant.
Yes.
This is a tricky one. Are you more concerned with the 49ers pass rush without Bosa or the 49ers run defense with Bosa?
It's interesting. I mean, he's strong at the point of attack, but when he thinks it's a pass, he's so like he will frequently rush past the quarterback. He tries to get that wide edge rush. If you just push him past the quarterback, like it's easy to scramble on Nick Bosa. And that's been the Niners' issue for a long time. Like if the quarterback is stationary, Bosa's going to ruin his day and the Niners are going to win. If the quarterback can move a little bit, and he takes those scrambling lanes, you can turn Bosa into a liability. Andy Reid and the Chiefs turn Bosa into a liability every time they face him. So
he's just on an edge anyways. He's just on the edge. He's on one side of the ball. Mm-hmm. So he can't stop. Even if he was the best, run stuffer there was, he's not. But he's just on the edge. What concerns me is the interior, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead. I mean, especially the second unit. I mean, the 49ers were 31st in stopping the run on third and short. They were as good as their defense was last year. They were towards the bottom. And in this preseason, they did not look good. I bet you Mike Tomlin is going to be running Najee Harris up the 49ers hardcore on Sunday. So, I mean, that's more of a concern to me. I'm more concerned about the 49ers run defense than I am about the 49ers pass rush, even without both.
Yeah. That being said, I feel like Najee Harris isn't that good. I'm sorry.
True.
I know he's from out here and like he's like a local dude.
Yeah.
Let me look him up. So he's 25. He's from Martinez. Last year he averaged 3.8 yards per carry. But the year before that he averaged 3.9 yards per carry. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think the Niners are scared of Najee Harris, dude.
I'm not. It's not him. It's Mike Tomlin's.
It's true.
Like
I would expect Dre Greenlaw to light Najee Harris up. Light him up, dude. Hit him hard. That's what I would expect.
Well, I expect that too, but they're gonna be getting to the second level.
It's true.
Yeah,
I would think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about it. Who wins Week 1? Niners or Steelers? Niners are still 2.5-point favorites. I wonder if that is going to change as Bosa remains unsigned. But what do you think? Who wins Week 1 and why?
I'm sorry, Niners fans, y'all gonna hate me, but I predicted this morning in the last couple of weeks that the 49ers are gonna lose this game. The reason I think they're gonna lose this game, I don't think they're gonna be as prepared as Pittsburgh is. It's hard to travel to the East Coast, play Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh against a Mike Tomlin team. Mike Tomlin at home is ridiculous, especially in Week 1. Kyle Shanahan traditionally, I mean, outside of 1 year, I think he started very slow. He started slow last year. He started slow the year before that. Because of that, I have the 49ers losing to Pittsburgh. I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a close one. Here's the difference maker, Grant. Who the hell's kicking for the 49ers? Is it Jake Moody? And if it's Jake Moody, that gives me less confidence. I don't
think so.
And I think the kicking game is what's going to be the difference.
That's terrifying. I'm going to go with the Niners still. Even without Bosa, if they were facing a real good quarterback, sure. But Kenny Pickett, I think Kenny Pickett is essentially on par with Brock Purdy, which is cool. I mean, Kenny Pickett was a first-round pick. I don't know that he should have been. Brock Purdy, I think they both are essentially like day 2 picks, if you had to be honest about it. Guys who can scramble around a little bit, kind of, they're not that bad, but they're limited.
Who would be better
I
on
would
the
say.
Niners? Who would be better on the Niners?
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, would they be that much better with Kenny Pickett than Brock Purdy? They'd be better, maybe. But I just feel like I've seen this defense face Brock Purdy in camp. They kicked Brock Purdy's ass. They intercepted Brock Purdy so many times. Only thing Brock Purdy could do against this defense was basically throw short. So now you've seen Purdy. Now you got Pickett. He doesn't have McCaffrey. He's got Najee Harris and he does have 2 good wide receivers. He does. But I think even without Bosa, the defense should be good enough. They shouldn't be giving up more than 20 points to freaking Kenny Pickett. And I think the Niners offense should be able to score 21. I don't know.
Here's my worry. So Watt was injured a little bit last year.
True.
He's not even their best pass rusher, man. The guy, what's his name?
Highsmith.
Yeah.
14.5.
They got to protect Brock Purdy.
Yep.
They got to protect Brock Purdy. That's the worry for me this year. I don't know.
And what sucks also is that Steelers have a good run defense too.
That's the problem.
They gave up 7 rushing touchdowns last year. That's it. 7.
I'm not as worried about, the 49ers not being able to stop Pickett as much as I am the 49ers being able to score on Pittsburgh's defense in Pittsburgh. I think it's going to be a really close game, and I think the kicker is going to make the difference, and that's why I'm leaning Pittsburgh. I don't have any faith in Moody right now. So
what's going to be a big problem for the Niners? Communication Week 1. It's going to be really loud. And again, the Niners didn't play that many road games last year. A real road game, it's super loud and communication's an issue. You have false starts and the other team's pass rush is sped up because the offense is using a silent count. And you saw what happened against Philly. The Niners didn't make it through the first drive. That pass rush was all over them. They looked like they were beat slow because they were. And that's going to be even more so in Pittsburgh. It's really loud. They do the thing with the towels. It's like a big deal over there. Football, it's Week 1. It's going to be loud. You got Colton McKivitz making his first start. You got Brock Purdy making his first start.
I think Najee Harris is going to go off. I think they're going to run him up the middle, and I think he's going to have success. And I think the 49ers defense is going to struggle protecting Brock Purdy. And I think the big part of this is traveling to Pittsburgh, playing.
So you're saying the Niners are going to get their butts whipped in the trenches?
I think so.
Yep. Well, with no Bosa, I don't know about Hargrave's fitness for week 1. We know what their second team defensive line looks like. So, that's not going to be helping matters out when they're on the field.
Let me clarify too for 49 fans.
I just feel like the offense should be able. I mean, I know Steelers have a good defense.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Mike Tomlin's got something dialed up his sleeve. Not dialed up his sleeve. Something dialed.
The Niners can do this to defenses. They can put you in a game where it's all about tackling. They can get the ball to the quarterback's hands so quickly. They can run the ball. They can sort of neutralize your pass rush sometimes, even with a bad offensive line. Get the ball in the hands of McCaffrey real fast. Get the ball in the hands of Debo real fast. Can you tackle these guys all game? We'll see. Tomlin's
going to be ready, man. They know what they're going to do. Even George Kittle came on record saying he gave what they did with Brock Purdy and CMC is they gave CMC a choice route. Right, whatever was going on the right side, if that was the strong side, CMC would run out to the left side. He had a choice route, option route. He can run wherever he wanted, and then Purdy would look over and dump it off for that. Mike Tomlin's going to be ready for that, man. Like, this isn't last year. They got the film on it. Mike Tomlin is my favorite head coach in the NFL, and I just think he's going to be ready, man. I really do. I think these 49ers, it's going to be close.
You're saying Kyle Shanahan's team isn't going to be fully ready week 1? I mean, just because Bosa isn't there and they haven't decided who their kicker is and it's Kyle Shanahan coaching, wow.
And if Bosa's not there?
Hot take.
If Bosa's not there, I mean, even more so. And, don't get me wrong, all you guys watching this, I know people get mad. I'm a 49er fan. I want the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. I want them to win every game. But Grant asked me my opinion of how I think it's go down, and that's how I think it's going to go down. Doesn't mean I don't want the Niners to win. I just don't think they are week 1.
The coach and the GM just kept saying, Bosa's going to be here. Bosa's going to be here. We're not nervous. We expected this. I just feel like the players are like, cool, okay. And now that he's not here, they're like, are we really going to play this game without Bosa? And I think it's kind of dawning on them, and I don't think it's really helping the morale of the team. I mean, when Drake Jackson was singing, again, Drake Jackson walking through the locker room today saying, Bosa, come back. You can blame it on. Like, that's, to me, the cry of a team that's a little confused and would like to stand. I mean, we saw Fred Warner do the little shrug, pay the man during the second preseason game. Like, this is so not what the locker room needs right now.
Man, I got him losing. I got him losing week 1, but I got him winning we'll talk about that next week or whatever. But I got him winning a lot of games after that. So the 49ers will be fine, but they start slow, and they're going to start slow this year, is my opinion. We'll see. Again, I'd love to be wrong about it.
Sure. Let's hold on. Did I put the right? Hold on. I didn't get it.
Hold up.
Predict the 49ers. Let's get Purdy's stats first. Let's do that. Let's predict
Lewis
Purdy's
disliked
stats.
me more than when the show started. What's up, Lewis? Appreciate it.
Oh, well. Okay, predict Brock Purdy's stats.
Man, you just want the 49ers fan base to hate me completely. Okay, I put something else up. I think if he plays healthy, if he's healthy all year long, I think he's going to have.
Which we should definitely assume.
Yes, which we should definitely assume.
Yeah.
3,800 yards, 29 touchdowns, and here's why. Here's where everyone's going to hate me. I think 16 interceptions.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's my prediction for the season.
I think he's gonna play 8 games. I think the bye week is week 9, and I think after that it's going to be the Sam Darnold show, just based on how the Niners do business. So whatever you said, half of that.
Oh shit!
Whatever you said, half of that. Like I could really see his TD to INT ratio going to 1-to-1 or below 2-to-1. I could see that. And then he got hurt in his first start. He got hurt in his 8th start. He holds the ball. He runs around. Everyone knows he's rolling left. He doesn't step up. I don't know. He's little. And I say that as someone who's probably smaller than him. Sorry, Brock. And they don't protect quarterbacks on the 49ers. They don't. It's not just that Colton McKivitz is the right tackle. Sorry, Colton. It's that he won't even be blocking the edge rusher a lot of the time. It'll be like Braden Willis on a play action pass that looks great on the whiteboard. That kind of stuff. Long or there'll be like a 7-step drop from under center that no one's really equipped to block. I don't know. I just don't think it's something the Niners care about, protecting their quarterback.
I would love for Brock Purdy to play 20 games this year. That would be ideal for me. But I mean, statistically, under Kyle Shanahan on the 49ers, the backup quarterback has an 83% chance of starting a game. So it's unfortunately likely that Sam Darnold does play at some point, which doesn't give me confidence. I'm not a big Sam Darnold guy.
No, there's only one big Sam Darnold guy in the entire world, and we all know who he is.
Kyle Shanahan, yeah.
Last name rhymes with banana hands. Predict the Niners record.
Oh shit! Yeah, we ended this one on a hot note. I got him at 10-7, man. That's where I got the 49ers. But I got them winning the NFC West. It's going to be close with the Seahawks. I think Seahawks and the Niners both go 5-1 in the NFC West. So there's going to be a tiebreaker, either the record or the point differential. But I got the 49ers winning the NFC West 10-7. That's my prediction.
I got the Niners at 10-7 and not winning the NFC West.
Seahawks.
A little concerned about their defense this year. Like, where's Bosa? Who's Steve Wilkes? No Aziz. No Jimmy Ward. Those are losses. Also, if Ambry has to play or Samuel Womack has to play, I don't know about that. But, like, compare them to Seattle. Everyone loves the Niners' weapons. A lot of people say the Niners have the best weapons in the league. Seattle's right there, man. If their first-round pick, JSN, from Ohio State, is healthy,
yeah,
DK Metcalf, JSN, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Noah Fant. I mean, I'll take the Niners tight end over their tight end, but when he's healthy, like, the Seahawks have really good weapons and a young offensive line that I think is more talented than the Niners' offensive line. So, we'll see.
I mean,
and a better quarterback than the Niners. Really good deep thrower.
It all hinges, to me, it all hinges on Brock Purdy, CMC, Trent Williams. If those three players, like if you lose one or two of those players for any extended time period, it's going to be rough, I think. And not only that, George Kittle. Like, let's talk about the tight ends real quick. After George Kittle, what is there? The 49ers have no tight end.
Ross DeBoss.
Yeah, Ross, the boss.
Ross. So the guy the Niners have been trying unsuccessfully to replace for like 3 years.
If George Kittle doesn't play for a long period, I'm just nervous, man. I want these guys to stay healthy because I feel like if those guys stay healthy, the 49ers could have a lot of success, but it is definitely my concern for the season. It's all going to boil down to those guys, to me.
Maybe 10-7 is too harsh. Maybe it's more like 11-6 or 12-5. It just feels like they're going to be throwing away some games early in the season they should win. Again, they could sign Bosa tomorrow. It feels like it's already too late. So I'm picking the Niners to beat Pittsburgh, but Ryan isn't. And it's only a 2.5-point spread. It really feels like it could go either way. And if it comes down to a field goal, heaven help the Niners, man. Heaven help them.
What are we last year? 13-4, right? Now, look at this. So we were 13-4 last year. This year, quarterback room, not nearly as good. No Jimmy Garoppolo, no Trey Lance, right? You got Sam Darnold and Brandon Allen. So the quarterback room fell off, right? The schedule, the teams, the opponents they're playing, and the travel, if you add all that in with the quarterback room, to me, that equals a worse record. So I don't think they're going 13-4. I would be extremely surprised with that. I think 10-7, 11-6, maybe 12-5.
Can I say something about Darnold real quick? He was the third pick in the draft. He's made like $50 million in his career. He's set for life. He hasn't had any success, but he's getting this 8th chance to do something with the Niners. And I was looking at him in the locker room today. Like, you look at Purdy on the field, whatever. Like, Purdy has these huge legs. You could tell that he really works hard in the weight room. Trey Lance work, you could tell too. Like, you don't have to be a muscle. You don't have to look like Will Levis to play quarterback. In fact, maybe you shouldn't be super muscle bound. Brady wasn't. But, like, man, Darnold, like, he doesn't look like he lifts at all. It's nothing. He's got nothing. It's like,
I don't know the guy, but I've said it in the past, just from the way I read him, is he just doesn't seem like a guy that wants to be great. He doesn't.
He's built like C.J. Beathard.
I don't get that sense from him that he's like, I want to be the best quarterback that ever lived. I don't see that in Sam Darnold. I think he's just, it seems cool, like chill.
Yeah.
Like a
chill.
homie. Yeah,
but I'm down. Yeah. I'm super down to play football.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Let's do it, man. On the backup, sweet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cool.
That's just kind of the vibe it gives me.
Let's play some football, man. You guys want a longboard there? You want a longboard? Yeah, let's play, man. It'll be fun. Sorry, but that's pretty much it. And now he gets to he has $50 million. He gets to be a backup quarterback on the West Coast. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, no, I don't get the Mamba mentality from Sam Darnold.
All right, who was playing there last season with the 49ers?
See, this one's tough, man. I think if I had to bet one person, it's Kyle Juszczyk. I don't see how they pay that guy $7.5 million. Now, maybe they restructure him, but he's getting old, and he's expensive for a fullback. The 49ers have all kinds of cap issues next year. Kyle Juszczyk will make $7.5 million next year. That's a lot of dough for a fullback, a guy who they don't use that much. I think Jack Coletto is a much cheaper option for them, and they're going to have to be cutting corners next year, especially if they sign Nick Bosa. They got a lot to figure out, man. I think Kyle Juszczyk might be one of those cap casualties.
I'm going to go with Eric Armstead. He'll be 31. His cap number will be $25.6 million.
Yeah,
that's 10%. He's at 10% right now. So he's going to have to really
ball out,
record a lot more sacks than he had last year. Like, he's going to have infinity more sacks than he had last year.
So like 3?
I feel like 3. Yeah. He's going to have to do something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can't justify keeping him at almost $26 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys have penalties if you get rid of them. So they're going to have to trade a lot of these guys. I mean, this is the year for the 49ers, man. They got to figure it out. If not this year, maybe next year. I think next year they're going to lose a couple guys. The year after that, they're probably going to lose a couple more because everything's just getting very expensive.
What's wild, too, is let's say Colton McKivitz is good, plays well.
Yeah.
He'll probably be gone next year, too. Because if you're like a good starting right tackle in the NFL, you get money. You get a lot of money. 15, 16. Look at Mike McGlinchey. We all know he's not good. Mm-hmm. And yet he's making like $17 million or something a year with Denver. So Colton could do, I mean, if he puts himself in the Mike McGlinchey territory, then he'll be priced out. And the Niners will be going with God knows.
They give Colton 1 year or
like $1 million. Colton McKivitz.
1 year? I thought they may have given him 2.
Oh, let's check it out. Okay. Colton McKivitz over the cap.
I think
what's he working with? Let's see what you got, Colton.
I think they might have given him 2. I'm trying to.
Oh, dang, you're right.
Okay.
Dang.
So they got
an elite right tackle locked in for 2 years at $4 million. That's what's up.
Well, they're going to be drafting offensive linemen next year. That's for sure. They need to draft a center. They need to draft a right tackle. They need to draft a left tackle. They're not going to be able to draft all next year. They're going to have to figure it out. And then here's the other thing. This is a heartbreaker right here. You know who else could be playing the last season with the 49ers?
You're going to say Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, shit. No. Hope not. That's one of my favorite players on this offense. Trent Williams.
Yep.
When does he decide to hang it up? It's
true. He's got a lot of money left that he can make. I think he'll probably try to get some of that. I would. But who's the guy you just said? Who's I got? No, Ayuk. What about Ayuk?
I think so. Here, the thing about Debo's contract kicks in next year. They can structure Ayuk's to be relatively inexpensive next year. So I think they could possibly keep both next year. But after that, one of them's gone. I would guess Debo. BA's not going anywhere. That's my guess. Here's another one. You know who's not going to be here next year? Sam Darnold. They're not going. He's going to be gone next year. There goes the Super Bowl window, just like that.
You telling me Kyle's going to get over his crush by then?
Yeah, I think so.
Kyle's funny. He's like a guy with trust issues, right? Like he gets a new girlfriend. He's like, all right, you're going to need to share your location with me. Okay. I'm going to need to know where you are all the time.
Right.
You have to check in with me 18 times a day. In fact, you need to text me all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm also talking to 3 other quarterbacks.
He's the guy that is super jealous because he's cheating.
Exactly.
Right.
All of his own insecurities he projects on the new girl.
Right.
I need to know where you are because I'm the kind of guy who would. You should probably know where I am, but you don't get to know where I am. Sorry. Man. Sorry, but that's how it is. Yeah. Let's take the last super chats and bounce. Dave Barkley says, I don't have Twitter. I got an email. Man, you gotta get with the times, baby.
Hit me, bro.
Cocoa Puff says defensive player of the year, but had no sacks all 3 playoff games. Yeah, and he kind of fell off at the end of the season too. Jay Mears 10 says, I do Shanny and Bosa for Sean Payton and Patrick Surtain.
I don't like Sean Payton. I don't like his shoes.
I don't like his face.
I don't like his shoes or his face.
What are his shoes?
No Peyton. He just wears these big old clunky dad's shoes, but they're like skater shoes. They're like the skater shoes from the late 90s with khakis. It's just not a good look.
He's wearing Airwalks?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Big ass clunky Airwalks.
Get out of here with that.
Yeah.
Official BNA Music 88 says, I've been in Miami since last Wednesday. I'll just rub it in. Just really rub it in. I see why Bosa and Gore stay out here. Platinum package level BBLs in the real estate is price. Yeah. It's crazy, man. I didn't know what a BBL was until I went there in February and realized, I was like, man, do girls just have bigger butts out here? Is it something in the water? Like, no, it's a thing called the BBL.
BNA is going to be live with me. We're doing a call-in show tomorrow, and he's going to be playing the bass. We're doing a call-in show.
He should change his name to BBL Music 88. Dave Barclay says there's enough out there for everyone to eat, and I love you guys supporting each other. Haters at the bottom, tearing people apart. Entrepreneurs at the top, hustling together. Credit answer.
Hit me up, dude. Ryan G. What is it? Ryan at
RyanGHensley.com. Ryan at RyanGHensley.com. Saul Guillen says, will the Niners have enough money to keep Ayuk after the season? They said they had enough money to keep Bosa, didn't they? So we'll see. Maybe if Bosa leaves, they'll have enough money to keep Ayuk. I don't know. Yeah. Tommy Huxley says, I don't know if I can give my business to a cop.
He says my mustache makes me look like a cop. That's his ongoing joke with me and Tommy. Appreciate it, Tommy.
Modem Gamer says, just saw a clip of that Andy Reid used a play that a janitor drew up. That's humble. Would Kyle ever do that? Is Kyle humble?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
no, he'd probably throw it back in the janitor's face. Like, well, how will this work against cover 4?
He would probably.
How will this work against quarter halves?
He'd probably throw his trash down on the ground and tell the janitor to pick it up.
He'd be like,
how dare you?
He'd be like, well, by no means is this play perfect. Dave Barclay says, ever since your interview with Ward Grant, he has been the biggest celebrity persona I actually want to meet. I think he is such an awesome guy and pretty down to earth, knows his talents A++. If there's another player on the Niners that you would like me to interview, a la Jimmy Ward, someone you feel like would be interesting in that same vein, let me know. I'm curious. Who's the next Jimmy Ward on this team? I miss Jimmy Ward already.
Yeah.
Omar Original says Kyle is fired first. John takes over, gets his coach. What if, though, this Nick Bosa thing costs the Niners a playoff berth, seeding? Would someone get fired based off this Bosa debacle next year? I mean, we're not there yet, but if this is the excuse that they fall back on this year, not having Bosa, someone might have to get fired for this. I don't know.
I think that it all depends on what happens this season. I don't think he's on the hot seat yet, but it's warming up, and it depends on what happens this season. But it could cool down real quick if they have a successful season. Also, no doubt. Juwan Jennings, that's who I'd love to see you interview. I like him.
Jennings? I was thinking Jennings. He seems like he'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and he might not be here next year. That's another guy might not be here next year.
Good point. Silky Smooth Smithers says, considering how good the Niners are, it's a hit or miss this season. Never had mixed thoughts going into a season. Who y'all signing, Wu-Tang or Outkast?
Who am I signing, Wu-Tang or Outkast?
Well, you get more bang for your buck with Wu-Tang because there's so many members in Wu-Tang. You get Raekwon, the Chef, and Ghostface Killah, and Method Man, who often works with Redman but isn't in Wu-Tang but sort of affiliated.
Are you talking about what's the question here? What is
I don't know. I have no idea.
If we're talking about
Outkast music, broke up.
If we're talking about music, it's Outkast. They're top. They're in the top for me, man. Andre 3000 is one of the top 10. Outkast is one of the best. Go ATL Aliens is one of the best rap albums of all time. You can listen.
They're both great. And they're both great.
I like Wu-Tang, but I'm going Outkast.
I like them both.
They're both good. But
do they ever collaborate?
Do you ever sit around like, let's play that Wu-Tang? I think
sometimes.
I don't know. I play Outkast. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, and not none of the commercial stuff either.
I like New York rap. I also like 80s rap, but I feel like most people don't listen to 80s rap anymore. I was listening to LL Cool J all weekend because I saw him at Chase Center. And of all the rappers from the 80s, I feel like his music really aged quite well.
Yeah.
LL. Rocks well.
He's a lot of your rappers' favorite rapper, LL Cool J.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was him, Ice-T, Rakim, Slick Rick at the Chase Center. I thought that was cool.
Started it all, those guys.
Started it all. Shady Luke. You know I'm a Philly fan out of Utah. That dude Ayuk is going to go nuclear this year. If A.J. Brown can get over the top for a deep shot, Johnson or Pickens for sure can. Don't sleep on Jalen Warren. If A.J. Brown can get over the deep. That's the thing with the Niners. Like, you don't necessarily have to outrun their cornerbacks deep. You just have to beat them at the catch point. Like, Lenore's going to be there. The question is, will he win at the catch point? Sometimes, yes. But against a guy like Pickens, who's 6'3", that's a tough matchup for Lenore. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. El Chignon says, has Nicholas even met our new DC yet?
I don't think so.
Nicholas. Julio says, this season will come down to the O-line that technically hasn't been addressed since 19. No way y'all said Geno is better than Purdy. Geno's one of the best deep ball throwers in the game.
Geno was better than Purdy last year statistically. That's a fact. I don't think we said that though in this video.
I said it. I'll take Geno.
Okay.
Geno throws a beautiful deep ball.
Well, I mean, why can y'all be mad at Geno? Geno does it all. Last year he was phenomenal, man.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, Brock Purdy throws an elite deep ball as well, but I like Geno just a little bit better.
According to Brock Purdy, he does not throw an elite deep ball.
Oh, he's just being modest. William Bennett says, I think John York was hoping to have won a Super Bowl by now and was hoping to be moving off Bosa by now. Possible. Don't know. David Baker, after 50 years of watching the Niners, I'm just excited to see some games. The soap opera will settle itself. Cray. Interview Ayuk. Okay, one vote for Ayuk, one vote for Jennings.
I think Jennings will give you more than Ayuk, personality wise, but I would like you to interview.
Well, I'm gonna say this today since he already agreed and he's a stand-up dude. Hufanga already said yes for one. I got Hufanga in. He's in.
That's dope.
Talanoa said yes. He'd do one show. So Talanoa, you got to keep your word. I just told everyone.
Yeah.
Cat's out of the bag. He shook on it too. So Talanoa's in for one. Who else would you guys like to see? Flavia says Wu-Tang is one of the top 10 boy bands of all time.
Boy bands, holy shit, Flav. That's worse
Dude,
than your Kill steak right there. Don't do that. Don't disrespect Wu-Tang. I like Outkast.
That being said, though, I do feel like in the late 90s, early 2000s, like there were some, like boy bands were such a big thing that's like the Hot Boys were kind of like a rap boy band. It's like, let's put together four, you know what I mean? Then like two of them are in high school. I'm just saying.
You got a lot of support on your Trey Lance hate stuff, but I think you're going to lose a lot on calling Wu-Tang a boy band. So
yeah, they weren't a boy band.
No.
I think you could call Hot Boys like B2K was. B2K was for sure. Hot Boys, I mean, they were gangster rappers. Yeah. But that was during the NSYNC Backstreet Boys. That was like, if you had 4 people in a group in 1999, you're probably going to get famous. Wu-Tang had like 10.
Bro, put it this way.
Wu-Tang had,
Every boy band that ever existed would be extremely uncomfortable around Wu-Tang Clan. That tells you Wu-Tang Clan is not a boy band.
No, Wu-Tang Clan is definitely not a boy band.
Those guys
They're
are
a clan.
from the hood. They're from the projects, bro. Like you're comparing,
Staten Island.
The Staten Island guy in a boy band ever was probably Mark.
Who's your favorite member of Wu-Tang? Favorite member?
ODB. Or
that's a good answer. It's a good
I don't
answer.
know. Red.
It's a good answer.
Yeah, I don't like ODB. Yeah.
I think I like Ghostface.
Boy band member, Flav? How dare you, dude?
How dare you? I think I like Ghostface. Ghostface had a sense of humor, and his voice is very distinctive, and he had multiple great records. Nathan Flores says Jordan Mason. That's the whole tweet. $5.
Boom.
Jordan Mason. Boom. Bone Thugs and Harmony. From Cleveland, discovered by Eazy-E.
Cleveland's the city where they come from.
I'll be in Cleveland soon. I interviewed Trent. There's a lot of wisdom in that man. Yeah, but when I said, I don't think he would say yes ever since I said he was tipping plays. That's the problem. A lot of players on the Niners don't like me. So I'll have to work around that. Dave Barclay says Hufanga would be cool. I think Hufanga would be highly cool.
Yeah, he's great.
Anyway, that's the show. Thanks for watching. Be back in 2 hours with Larry. We'll talk about more. Do any more streaming today?
No, tomorrow I got like 3 shows. I got a Pittsburgh Steelers guy tomorrow, Jesse, and then also my Cohn show. But ask Larry about why you should have stopped and included him in that video at the end. today. He was following you.
I felt bad. I don't think he was trying to follow me. I just happened to get him in the shot, and he was like trying to. I don't know. I have to talk to him about that. He looked good though. He's got a lot of drip.
He does.
Larry Drip Kruger is what they call him. They drippy. I second Mason. Jordan Mason. Okay. All right. Jordan Mason. I like it. Thanks everyone. I'll be back in less than 2 hours.